You're not scary, you're just kind of kooky.
I prefer spooky.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're discussing how Jenna Ortega prepared to play Wednesday.
I did cello, fencing, canoeing, archery, boxing, German.
For this list, we'll be looking at how the actress got ready for her role as everyone's favorite moody outsider. What do you think of Jenna Ortega's modernized Wednesday Addams? Share your thoughts below. Finding a new Wednesday. Latina actress Jenna Ortega started acting in television and film as a child, playing everything from a young Jane in Jane the Virgin to starring in her own Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle.
But as the middle child in a family with 7 kids, I've learned this squeaky wheel gets the grease.
From her teens into young adulthood, she found herself taking on darker projects like Netflix's You and the Scream franchise. But getting into horror territory wasn't unusual for Ortega, as she's always had an interest in the macabre and a dark sense of humor.
I mean, it started with the kill scene, right? They always started with the kill scene.
Yeah, that's right.
Growing up, she said she was often likened to the quintessential goth girl Wednesday Addams. So it was fate when her name came up to possibly play the titular teenage Wednesday in a new Netflix series.
What are you gonna do? What I do best.
While filming Ty West's slasher movie X, Ortega landed a Zoom audition with the legendary Tim Burton, who was attached to the Addams Family spinoff as a director and executive producer.
And it was funny because when I met Tim Burton for my Wednesday audition, I had just finished doing that, so I had stage blood and glycerin sweat in my hair and a massive cut on my face and had been up for over 24 hours. I got on the Zoom and he actually laughed. It made me laugh. I thought it was endearing.
The series was described as a coming-of-age supernatural mystery following the antisocial Wednesday Addams as she attends Nevermore Academy boarding school and becomes an amateur detective. And a notable aspect of this interpretation was that for the first time, they would be representing her Latinx heritage, which the character's real-life creator Charles Addams also possessed.
Oh, you must be the psychopath they let in.
And you must be the self-appointed queen bee. Interesting thing about bees. Pull out their stingers and they drop dead.
Naturally, there's a lot of pressure and expectations when taking on an iconic character with an established fan base, especially when it's the character's first time in the spotlight.
I think there's going to be some more depth or some more emotional range that we haven't really seen from her before. So I think trying to introduce that to the audience in a safe way.
In previous projects, she's only served up one-liners while the adults got the most screen time. But Ortega was up for the challenge. She was tasked with infusing Wednesday with a personality that hasn't been fleshed out in the past. At Nevermore, she's surrounded by people her age, the majority of them supernatural beings.
I'm assuming scales are sirens. You catch on quick.
That requires a different skill set in terms of acting and reacting while staying true to Wednesday's signature lack of emotion. Plus, she has her own budding psychic abilities to harness.
Calling pop culture superfans everywhere. Do you love to argue with WatchMojo's top 10 ranks? Introducing WatchMojo's first and very own party game. Bring your superpowers to the table and fight for your pick to be at the top of the list. It's all the fun of the comment section, but in real life.
Embodying an icon. To really become Wednesday Addams, Jenna Ortega knew she needed to master the character's physicality. That meant changing her posture, mannerisms, and even the way she walked.
It's funny, I think my posture has improved immensely.
Wednesday has always been unapologetically herself, and Ortega wanted to convey confidence in the way she carried herself.
We want our students to be well-rounded.
I'd prefer to remain sharp-edged.
As Wednesday tries to solve the big mystery, she approaches anyone and everyone, telling them exactly what she requires, whether it be a mode of transportation or someone to act as a lookout. With intense eye contact and a guarded exterior, the actress brings an intimidating level of assertiveness.
Just as long as you're lakeside cheering us to victory on race day. Or you can just glare uncomfortably. Whatever works for you.
Wednesday is known and loved for her stoicism. Ortega went as far as not even blinking in scenes.
And Tim said, I don't want you to blink anymore.
However, this particular coming-of-age journey for Wednesday warranted changes to her usual expressionless face. Ortega found the right balance of aloofness and charm, making her character more relatable. When she interacts with the students of Nevermore and the residents of Jericho, she still comes off as cold and apathetic. But she's not completely heartless. She finds herself connecting with a small number of people who bring out a smirk or two.
I act as if I don't care if people dislike me. Deep down, I secretly enjoy it.
Never lose that Wednesday.
Showrunners Alfred Goff and Miles Miller wrote an interpretation of Wednesday reminiscent of the 90s version inhabited by the talented Christina Ricci.
I'll buy a cup if you buy a box of my delicious Girl Scout cookies. Do we have a deal? Are they made from real Girl Scouts?
Ortega made sure to embody the character's most popular traits, especially the trademark dry, sarcasm-laced responses with deadpan delivery, requiring the actress to adjust her pitch.
And Yoko's an amateur mixologist.
She makes a killer virgin mojito. Can get pretty wild.
Wow, do you guys even have a bedtime?
Wednesday's also incredibly smart with a sizable vocabulary. Speaking with a strong sense of formality, another trait Ortega nailed to perfection.
You're really becoming obsessed with this whole monster in the woods thing.
Would you rather I develop an obsession with horses and boy bands? Thank you for the help.
Additionally, Ortega learned German because, of course, Wednesday Addams speaks multiple languages.
Das amselige schon vorbereitet, der amerikanischen Geschichte auf Fress durchhalten. Übrigens, Fudge wurde erst 258 Jahre später erfunden.
Gothic glamour for the modern age. A modern take on Wednesday Addams' wardrobe could go in a few different ways, but Burton's longtime collaborator and award-winning costume designer Colleen Atwood went classic goth with some contemporary elements. When we see Wednesday in the first episode, she's wearing a white-collared black and floral dress, which is a look that we're familiar with. But after she's sent to boarding school, she's in a more dark academia aesthetic. The Nevermore uniform has black and bluish-purple stripes that really pop against the gothic backdrop. A big part of Wednesday is her individuality, and there's no way she would ever conform to a dress code, so she wears a special uniform with gray and black stripes. She is allergic to color, after all.
You're in black and white. Like a living Instagram filter.
Ignore him.
Jenna Ortega cited Billie Eilish as inspiration, and the singer's style definitely comes through in Wednesday's casual fashion. You'll find her wearing oversized hoodies and platform sneakers, as well as cardigans and leather jackets. Of course, everything is in her signature colors, so a lot of pieces are different patterns of black and white, even Enid's homemade snood. But the real showstopper was the Raven dance dress, which Atwood revealed to be an Alaya gown.
You look
Unrecognizable. Ridiculous. A classic example of female objectification for the male gaze.
amazing.
Without veering too far away from the Wednesday we're used to seeing, Burton wanted a different style for the character's famous long braided pigtails.
I have these bangs on my head, and the first day of filming, he spent 10 minutes with the hairdresser's comb, plucking each and every strand until it...
After some experimentation, Ortega tried out clip-on bangs that Burton liked but didn't love. So she told the hairdresser to just cut her some real bangs, and the rest was history. Now that's commitment.
Maybe just cut my actual hair. He said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Hey, if we have time to grow it out, we have time to grow it out, whatever, let's just see." And then he loved it.
Wednesday Addams, Renaissance woman. Unlike the Wednesdays before her, this modern version does more than just experimentally torture her siblings. Well, she still does that, but at school, she's given the time and space to explore her other interests.
Actually, I learned to play the cello for Wednesday. I started working on the cello about 2 months before we started shooting.
Other than writing her novel and solving murders, Wednesday likes to play the cello, meaning Ortega needed to take lessons twice a week to learn the instrument. She had 2 epic solos in the series, and we can see her hard work definitely paid off. Ortega also dedicated time to learning fencing, a canonical pastime of Gomez Addams.
Point to Wednesday.
In the first episode, she challenges Nevermore's Queen Bee, Bianca Barclay, to a duel, wowing the on-screen spectators as well as us in the audience.
That first point was clearly beginner's luck.
Filming the Po Cup race required Ortega to have some canoeing skills as well. And as seen in 1993's Addams Family Values, Ricci's Wednesday did some archery, which we get a taste of with Ortega's Wednesday. On top of fencing, canoeing, and archery, she also practiced boxing, which we can assume contributed to Wednesday's flawless fighting scenes. While juggling her various lessons, Ortega found time to choreograph Wednesday's instantly iconic dance to the Cramps' Goo Goo Muck.
I cruise through the city and I roam the streets.
It's a perfect blend of the character's own quirkiness and the killer moves of her parents we've seen in previous iterations of the couple. Ortega took inspiration from an eclectic array of influences, like 80s punk dancing, rock legend Susie Sue, and the distinctive stylings of famed choreographer Bob Fosse.
I actually felt really insecure about this. I choreographed that myself, and I think it's very obvious that I'm not a dancer.
She also made sure to pay homage to the beloved 1960s sitcom with Lisa Loring's Little Wednesday Shuffle, and the flourishes of John Astin's Gomez. The actress definitely understood the assignment. Not to mention she had to pull this off while in the early stages of COVID.
When I show up,
Jenna Ortega, a star on the rise. Despite all the pressure and stress of bringing a character to life on screen, Jenna Ortega crafted her own version of Wednesday Addams that had audiences immediately obsessed.
I've always been open to constructive criticism.
Her refreshing take on the iconic outcast demonstrates many talents, forms interpersonal relationships, and fearlessly hunts monsters. The actress said that playing Wednesday was the, quote, most overwhelming job she's ever had, and after learning about all the ways she prepared for the role, it's no surprise she was overwhelmed.
But you already knew that, didn't you?
But since its November 2022 record-breaking premiere, Ortega's received a massive amount of praise from colleagues and viewers alike, who see she's an extraordinary talent that has way more ahead of her.
To see the inner life and the subtleties was very exciting. And that's why we're very lucky to have Jenna, because I can't imagine any other Wednesday.
She's now just as iconic as the gifted, gloomy, and glam Wednesday Addams.
I think Percy told me one time on set, I think I said something off camera, and he said, I think you're more Wednesday than Wednesday. And with that, I take great appreciation.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.